Last week I spent about 6 hours teaching a computer to remember one face. On the first attempt, it gave him antennae. That's not a joke setup. That's the actual output. A man in a hoodie, hunched over a keyboard, with the head of a beetle. And the reason it happened is the most useful thing I learned all week, so let me back up. I'm Jason, and I make these videos on my own machine. The man you're watching is me. The man this story is about isn't. He's a character I made up for this channel, and getting a computer to draw the same made-up man twice took 3 attempts and most of a day. Here's the actual hardware. One graphics card sitting in a room in my house, and that's the actual file this story produced. 165 megabytes sitting on this disk. Nothing about this went to anyone's cloud. Ground floor first in case this is new. A model is a program that studied a huge pile of images and learned to draw new ones. You give it a written description, called a prompt, and it draws that. Mine runs on one graphics card in this room, so a wrong picture costs nothing but time. Here was the problem. Every scene gets drawn from scratch. The model has no memory of the last one, so I describe him, short dark beard, teal hoodie, and get 9 different men. The bug on his chest was the worst of it. It changed color and size in every scene, and in one of them it came out as a flower. I spent an evening rolling the dice, regenerate the bad scene, keep the good one, move on. About 25 times. Each fix held and the next scene drifted somewhere else. That's not a solution, that's weeding. The real fix is a LoRA. You train a small add-on that teaches the model one specific thing, in this case a face, and then you summon it with a made-up word. Why not retrain the whole model? That takes a data center. A LoRA is a small patch that sits on top of one, and it trains in hours on a single card. Training means showing it the same face over and over, nudging the numbers inside it a little each time. One nudge is a step. The run that worked took 2,000, and the made-up word is where I went wrong. I picked hbugman. Heisenbug man. Seems sensible at 2 in the afternoon, but the model doesn't see a name, it reads it. Bug. Man. And it did exactly what I asked, it blended a man with a bug. 250 steps in, my character had antennae growing out of his head and was well on his way to a full exoskeleton. So, a trigger word has to be meaningless. Not clever. Meaningless. Anything the model can read, it will read, and then it will helpfully mix it in. I renamed him HBG7Q, which means nothing in any language, rewrote every caption, and started again. Attempt 2. 2 hours of the graphics card running flat out. And after 1,000 steps, this is who it thought he was. No beard, wrong clothes, a different man entirely, in a different room. The antennae were gone, so the word fix had worked, but it hadn't learned him at all. Except for one thing. It had learned the bug on the chest, a small amber shape in the right place on the wrong man. And that's the clue. It wasn't learning nothing. It was learning the right thing, far too weakly. The cause was a setting I'd turned on without thinking. Something that smooths the training so it doesn't lurch about. It was smoothing it into nothing. I switched it off, doubled the learning rate, how big a nudge each step makes, and changed nothing else. One variable, but I'd never know which fix worked. Attempt 3. That's him. The beard, the hoodie, the drawstrings, and the amber bug on the left chest, in the right place, at the right size. Drawn from a nonsense word and a description of a pose. No paragraph describing him at all. It just knows him now, which is where I made my 3rd mistake. And this one is my favorite, because I did it to myself in front of a witness. The last episode has a roofer in it. A different man. Different clothes, different build, different job. The model gave me 2 of him. Same hoodie, same beard, same bug on the chest, shaking his own hand on his own driveway. Because a LoRA doesn't apply to a character. It applies to the picture. I then wrote a shot that said, explicitly, no people. A jacket on a hook. It gave me 2 of him wearing it. So, the renderer now switches the whole thing off for any scene he isn't in. If it's a map, or a folder, or a roof, the model that knows his face has no business being involved, and the roofer is now shot from the wrist down. You can't clone a man you never show. There's one thing it never learned, and I only worked out why afterwards. The bug on his chest. That's what I trained it on. 23 frames of him. Now look at the chest in each one. A different bug every time. Different size, sitting in a different spot, and in a couple of them barely there at all. So it learned exactly what I showed it. Not one mark, The general idea of a small amber something. Roughly there. A model learns whatever repeats. Anything in your data that doesn't repeat comes out different every time you ask for it, and the model has no way of telling you which is which. One bit of vocabulary first. A checkpoint is a save file, a copy of the half-finished model, written out every so often, so you end up with a folder of them. Second thing, nobody warned me about. It saves you sample pictures every 250 steps, so you can watch it learn. Those are 4 of them. Same prompt, 4 checkpoints. Different room, different angle, different man, near enough. It rolls a new random seed for every one of those, so you're not watching it learn. You're watching it buy lottery tickets. A seed is just a random number a picture starts from. Same prompt, same seed, same picture. Change the seed and nothing is comparable. I had 45 of these, and I still couldn't answer the only question that mattered, which was whether it was getting better. So I stopped looking at them and wrote something that renders the same prompt at the same fixed seed through the same code that builds these videos. One thing changes, the training step. And when I put the failed attempt through that, this is what came out, not him. A generic man wearing the hoodie I asked for, with a bug in roughly the right place, which is the whole failure in one picture. It had learned that a small amber something goes about there and nothing else at all. Last one, and it cost me an hour. It trained for 2,000 steps, and the one I shipped is step 1250. Same prompt, same seed, 4 points along the way. The bug sharpens up to 1250, and then it starts fading again. More steps is not more learning. Everyone reaches for the last file in the folder, and the last file is just the last one. 3 attempts. About 6 hours of a graphics card. 2 of those attempts produced nothing but a lesson. Here's all 3, and none of them are in the tutorials I read. A trigger word must mean nothing. Check what your training is producing early, because the failure is obvious in the first sample and invisible in the logs. And a character model applies to everything in frame, including the people you didn't want it to touch. And I didn't figure any of this out by being clever. I figured it out by looking at the pictures instead of trusting the process. If you train one of these and had to go somewhere stupid, I'd genuinely like to see it. You can find me at realheisenbug@gmail.com. I'm Jason. Thanks for listening.